Boardroom Insiders, we tell you what's top of mind with top business leaders. And for the past 6 months, our team has been tracking all of the COVID-19 related news and initiatives and challenges that CEOs have been talking about on their earnings calls. But in this recent round of earnings calls, we noticed a real shift in terms of how CEOs are talking about this crisis. For the first time, there is a clear acknowledgement that there seems to be no end in sight to this crippling uncertainty that we are all operating under for the past 6 months. So we are 6 months into a crisis that most of us thought would never last this long. And even today, we don't have any more information than we had in March about how we're going to get out of it and when. Some CEOs are saying that they expect to be operating under this extreme uncertainty until a vaccine is readily available, which takes us well into 2021. And even then, they say that it's very unlikely that we'll ever return to the old normal, though they're hard-pressed to describe what that new normal is going to look like. Now, CEOs have been on a quest to fill what we describe as this uncertainty gap. They've been spending more time talking with their peers, trading information and best practices. They've been spending more time with their customers, their partners, and their suppliers. And we know they've also been collaborating and strategizing across their own corporate silos. So what started back in March as crisis management teams consisting of line of business and functional leaders have matured into these agile groups of business leaders who are continuing to lead through crisis, driving innovation, and making decisions far faster than they used to. So if this is the CEO mindset 6 months in, what does this mean for all of you who are trying to reach and engage and support these leaders? Well, if uncertainty is their biggest pain point, consider how you can help fill this uncertainty gap. Every company, including yours, has information, expertise, research, tools, and data. So think about what you can bring to the table that would help your customer have more certainty around some aspect of their business or the macro environment. So can you offer up one of your own executives as a subject matter expert? Or do you have a piece of research or a case study that might be relevant? Or do you have a tool that could help ease communication and collaboration with their peers? So Slack is one example of a company that has done this brilliantly. As COVID-19 hit, Slack was in the process of introducing a new product feature that allows people to create private collaboration networks across multiple companies or organizations. And in the early days of the lockdown, the CEO of Slack set up one of these private networks with 15 other CEOs, and they used it to communicate and strategize as they were leading their companies through the early days of COVID. So soon after that, shared networks started emerging for other C-suite leaders, CFOs, CMOs, chief HR officers. So by filling this urgent need for a peer-to-peer communication tool, Slack got its product into the hands of hundreds of C-suite leaders, many of whom had never used it before. And it delivered so much value that these networks are still going strong, and they have resulted in 1,000 new paid customers for Slack in just a 6-week period. So at Boardroom Insiders, these videos are our way of trying to fill the uncertainty gap for you, sales and marketing leaders who are navigating executive engagement in the time of COVID-19. Now, we've got a lot more content coming. The uncertainty gap is just one of 5 trends that we uncovered in the latest round of earnings calls, and we will be diving into the other 4 in the coming weeks. So be sure and check those out. And remember, if your company is focused on selling and marketing to the C-suite, the Boardroom Insiders platform could be very useful. If you haven't seen it, I urge you to request a demo, and our team will customize that demo to focus on the accounts and the audience segments that you care about most. So I promise it will be worth your time. Until next time, thanks for listening.